Yo, Aces family, what is good? Hope you guys are doing blessed. So today we're going to be breaking down a Euro NZD sell setup that was called out for our members. You would have been able to clock out over a 5% gain on analyzing this position and catching it. So without further ado, like, comment, subscribe, and let's get into the video. Deuces. Yo, what is good, Aces family? Hope you guys are doing absolutely blessed today. So what we're going to go ahead and go over with you guys today is one of the trades that was called out within our group chat to our members. It was basically a Euro NZD short position where we were able to catch pretty much the top of the market this morning. So let's go ahead and break down that trade when we took it. All right, guys, so you guys can see right here within our new group chat, we have our Euro NZD sell idea, right? We entered it around 10:42. So about 45 minutes after the news that came out today, and we were risking about 19 pips and looking to gain about 60 pips or so, right? So pretty much just looking for a simple 1 to 3 RR. And yeah, I didn't actually post a chart for this specific example, but we'll go ahead and break down why we were looking for this trade. So for Euro NZD this morning, we actually ended up entering into this trade right around this pullback. Okay, guys, so within this push to the upside is when we took our entries. All right, the trade was called out at around 10:45. So basically within these candles over here, and then we basically saw that final drive after we called it out, really giving our members a chance to catch the top of that market, where we then ended up trading lower, right? So what were some of the things that we looked at that were really the biggest indications that this could happen, right? Now the biggest thing that I saw, guys, here, right, that really interested me the most was this incredible amount of liquidity that had been built up for such a long time, right? So we can really see how for about 11 days or so, 12 days or so, so for about half a month, we basically see these buying zones being respected very, very well, right? And for me, right, obviously when price was up here, this is a bit of a red flag for me when it comes to really seeing buying continue, right? The way I like to approach the market, right, is we obviously understand, like we always talk about, the market is manipulated, right? The major banks and institutions are the ones that run this market. So if that's the case, right, if the markets are manipulated and they're designed to make you lose, well, the way that you want to think about the market is you want to think about it as in, okay, which side of the market is easier or harder to play off of, right? So in this example, we can see that for days, finding buy entries was relatively simple, right? Finding these buy entries, we're all coming back to around the same trend line. We're seeing these big massive reactions multiple times, right? Basically like hundreds of pips just going on, right? So, or not hundreds, I guess actually it's like 50-60 pips in one move up, right? So you can have some pretty big moves coming from that zone there, right? So the buying has been very, very easy to stay in, right? But the selling has been very difficult to try to get into the market, right? We can see liquidity constantly being purged on the sell side of things, right? While the buy side of things, again, is really being allowed to stay in the market when it comes to that higher time frame idea, right? So especially with this 4-hour time frame, we just see all these lows, not really being cleared up, right? On top of that, obviously, when we look even bigger picture wise, we can see we are in a previous supply zone. We can kind of see how price has basically been kind of coming lower, right? We've been creating lower lows as of late, right? Obviously we haven't swept through this low, right? So that would actually give us the indication that we could go bearish for real, right? But as of right now, higher time frame wise, we can definitely see how we had this last buy to the upside before that next push down. So that's where we would expect price higher time frame wise, like daily, weekly. So right now we're on the weekly, right? We'd expect that to be the potential turnaround zone to have that next leg lower, right? So if that's the case here with, Euro NZD, well, we're in a good zone to start to look for those sells, right? And then obviously 4-hour wise, when we look at the current price action, we see all that liquidity down below. It could give us an idea that this could potentially be, our chance, right? Our chance to enter into the market. Okay. So yeah, that was one of the first things that really caught my eye. Now, the second thing that really caught my eye was this move right here, right? So we can obviously see how price had been ranging, right? Really just, staying within relatively the same price areas, right? And all the while, right, really creating a lot of liquidity to the upside, right? So we can go ahead and box that. So this is going to be our liquidity. Maybe we'll put our money sign there, right? And so we've just been ranging, right? Really creating money above here. And we end up seeing price basically just very impulsively come up above that high, right? Swipe all that money before then coming to the downside and just continuing to add to this liquidity, right? So again, seeing that swipe above, right? Making the sellers pop out, while again, the buyers are being allowed to continue to stay into the market, right? Now, from this moment was basically when I was really looking to, take advantage of sells here, right? So I was really looking to see, all right, when can we see price come lower, right? And when we saw this happen with Euro NZD, right? We had this run up right here, right? Just like that, we can clearly see we had all this liquidity. We come up, we swipe that, and then we come back down to add more, right? So what I ended up doing earlier this week was I actually ended up taking a trade right here, guys, right? So I took a trade once we came above that zone. I noticed on the smaller time frame, we were creating higher and higher highs. I noticed on the smaller time frame here, we're creating higher and higher highs. So you can see right here, the highs are technically getting higher, right? But they're not staying above these highs, right? You can see that there's definitely signs of weakness here because price is not able to stay above these levels. It's just poking above and continuing to come down, right? So finding entries within this zone was relatively simple. We ended up clocking in, a 2% gain based off of this trade setup, right? So again, just putting our stop above this previous high, and we took partials right around here, right? But again, our long-term idea was to really see that liquidity get cleared up, right? So we took partials here just in case, and luckily we did, because we did end up reversing when it comes to Euro NZD. So and after we ended up reversing, we can obviously see the way that we reversed was very interesting, because we had such huge buys come into the market very, very quickly, very, very impulsively, right? Almost targeting this as liquidity, while again, we're still coming back into that previous run that we talked about, right? So what we would expect would be like normal, is if we were going to have, let's say, like a run, just like we have here, right? So we got that run on liquidity, we have the push down, we'd expect the push back, and then the continuation down, right? So seeing this, right, even though it obviously stopped me out at break even on my trade here, right? Seeing this and then seeing how it completely engulfed to the downside, right? This was basically an area of interest for me, right? So what are we looking to do then if this is going to be an area of interest? If this price action here, right? If we're looking at this to be a liquidity run, right? How can we play this? Well, my idea would be to basically just see price retrace, right? Get back into that liquidity run, and then obviously continue to attack the liquidity. And so, this morning, the price action we saw was very interesting, right? Especially 15-minute wise. So we can see how we have this 15-minute candle right here that just basically, creates an institutional candle, right? So we have this bullish candle coming up, right? Just barely crossing above these previous highs, right? Stopping some people out before then having a big sell-off, right? So again, seeing how price just very impulsively comes above, right? Takes those highs and then continues to come down. Now, the other thing I noticed on top of that was this 1 hour candle right here, right? So you can see this 1 hour candle, right, is, it basically printed as, a very bullish institutional candle, right? Large body, and, coming above previous liquidity. So when I saw this candle completely engulfed to the downside, I started to think to myself that we could see this become an institutional candle, to then continue to take the liquidity to the downside. So what would our idea be? Well, our idea would basically be that we would want to enter within this 1 hour candle as a whole, right? So anywhere within this 1 hour candle, to basically see price continue to go to the downside, right? And so when we look within that 1 hour candle, right, and obviously, you know, lower time frame wise, that 1 hour candle, right, really created this massive imbalance here, and that's what we end up filling, right? So we can see from here to here, we have an imbalance in the market after that drop, and that's exactly what price reaches back into, right? So we can see here again, this was another thing that really confirmed the trade for me, was that again, we have that higher time frame target here, but we also had the lower time frame target, which was this liquidity here, right? So again, we have, you know, that current sweep, which was this here, right? So we're basically looking at that as a sweep. We're looking at this basically just as a mitigation play and balance fill to then continue to come lower. All right, guys, so I called out my trade, right? You guys can see I called it out at 1.8069, 8069 right here, right? Stop loss above the high, right? And again, the target is just going to be simply that liquidity right there, right? So we can see that sitting at about a 1 to 3 risk to reward just with that trade alone, but obviously, you know, we ended up clearing that liquidity and still coming lower, and so yeah, you know, really clean setups. And you know, after we entered into the trade, we can clearly see just how weak this is really looking, right? So we can see here how again, we create 15-minute wise, we have this institutional candle that's created, right? We have this institutional candle that's created, so that blue candle coming up, right, clearing these previous highs before then continuing lower. That's an institutional candle, right? Right here, another one, right? So we have that you know, bullish move reaching back up into that previous candle before then continuing to come lower, right? So just that mitigation order flow candle. So just really just seeing clear order flow, right? So there's that bullish candle, we're reacting from it, just continuously trading lower and lower. So there's really, you know, no reason to, you know, look to take profit before we were, you know, coming below that liquidity, just because again, like, it was very clear how weak this was looking, right? Straight since we took our entry, right? Because pretty much right after we took our entry, and we just had that one more drive, one more opportunity to enter, and then, you know, after that, we just absolutely melted, right? So obviously, if you guys took this trade and you were still currently in it, you guys would be over 100 pips in profit, risking about 1% to make 5% on this setup. And again, even if you didn't see it yourself, well, guess what? You could have just copied and pasted it from you know, our group chat, right? And you can see right here, that's the entry that we caught right within that zone. So again, guys, hopefully this makes sense, right? It's all about just really putting these time frames together, right? So, you know, it's a lot of people when it comes to, you know, taking trades, right? What they would probably do is they want to just, you know, trade off of, let's say, candles like this one, right? Which is not a wrong thing to do. Obviously, you might have still caught it if your stop loss was above the high. But for me, right, I want to see the signs of weakness not only happening here, right, but also happening in the smaller time frame price action when we're retracing, right? And so that's why waiting for that mitigation play, just like this one, right, waiting for that lower time frame price action is just going to give you that extra piece of confirmation. It's going to give you a better entry anyways, and it's going to give you a better risk to reward, right? So yeah, guys, so hopefully this makes sense on why we decided to take this Euro NZD sell setup. Again, we were just watching these candles really as they were printing, right? Seeing institutional candles like this one get created on that 45-minute, right? On that 1 hour, we saw that bullish candle that really showed us that we were reaching up for liquidity, right? 30-minute wise, again, same idea. 15-minute wise, same idea, right? All of it fractally is really showing us that we're just going to come lower, right? And then the biggest thing again, guys, is the liquidity, right? Like there's no chance that, you know, if we're just going to see price, let's say from here, come up all the way up to here, right? Well, then chances are we're just about to drop down real fast to try and clear that up, right? So even if we were to, you know, get stopped out at the end of the day, it's just going to set up that next opportunity to really see those lows get cleared, right? So sheesh, guys, this is just not stopping. So hopefully, you know, you guys enjoyed this video. You guys learned something here on how to catch some ridiculous snipes. yeah, so without further ado, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Take it easy. Deuces. Bye-bye. Yo, hopefully you guys enjoyed that video. I know it was a little bit longer this time, but definitely a lot of value to take away from there when it comes to, trading Wycoff, trading institutional concepts. So yeah, guys, again, hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you didn't already, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. And if you guys want to be a part of our community, make sure you guys are checking in our bio. We have all of our free resources to make you guys into snipers in this market. So I'll see you guys on the next video. Take it easy.